All right, let's talk about something that shows up in pretty much every workplace, the business report. Now, I know that phrase can sound a little intimidating, right? But what if it wasn't a chore, but actually a really powerful tool you could get great at using? Well, stick around because that's exactly what we're going to do.
Okay, be honest with me. Your boss walks up, says, I need a report on this. What's that little voice in your head say? Is there a little bit of dread, a little bit of, oh boy, where do I even start? What do they actually want from me? If that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. It's a totally normal reaction.
But what if we just flipped that whole idea on its head? A report isn't a problem to be survived. It's a massive opportunity. It's your chance to dig into a business problem, show off your clear thinking, and really make your case. Honestly, it's your brain organized on a page.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to reframe what a report even is. Then we'll get into the two main types, figure out how to structure them for whoever's reading it, and then do a quick tour of the usual suspects. And we'll finish up with a super simple 3-step plan you can start using, like, today. Let's do it.
Okay, first things first, let's redefine this whole report thing. Forget that image of some dusty, 100-page monster. At its core, a report is one of the most basic tools for making smart decisions in a business.
And this really gets right to the heart of it. A business report is just an organized way to answer a question or solve a problem. That's it. That's the whole game. You're taking a messy situation, bringing some clarity to it, and helping someone make a good call.
All right, so before you write a single word, you've got to make a really big decision that's going to shape everything else. And that decision is your goal just to inform people, or is it to analyze something for them?
And the difference is actually pretty simple. An informational report, it just gives you the facts. It's basically saying, hey, here's what happened. But an analytical report, that goes way further. It says, here's what happened, here's what we think it means, and here's what we should do about it.
So you can think of an informational report as a really well-organized summary. You know, a classic example is a trip report. You go to a big conference, you come back, and you write up what sessions you went to and what the main points were. You're not trying to change the company's direction, you're just reporting the facts. An analytical report, though? This thing is on a mission. Its whole purpose is to persuade someone to do something. So let's say your company needs a new office. You wouldn't just list 3 places. No, you'd analyze the pros and cons of each, compare them, and build a rock-solid case for why one of them is the absolute best choice.
Okay, so you know if you're informing or analyzing. The next big choice is how you're going to organize everything. And this one's all about your audience.
Think of this table as your little cheat sheet. If your reader is probably going to agree with you, or they're just super busy and want the bottom line, go with the direct strategy. You give them the conclusion right up front. Bam. But if they might be a little skeptical, or maybe you're delivering bad news, you use the indirect strategy. You build your case with all the facts first and lead them gently to the conclusion at the end.
So with those basics covered, let's do a quick lightning round of the most common reports you're going to run into. These are basically the different tools you can pull out of your writing toolkit for specific jobs. First up, the progress report, or status report. Its only job is to keep your boss in the loop and make sure there are no surprises. It just answers one simple question. Are we still on track? You talk about what you've done, what's next, and, this is key, any problems you're running into.
We mentioned this one before, but it's so important. A trip report is not a travel diary. Nobody cares what you had for lunch. The question it answers is, what did you see or learn out there in the world that could actually help us back here at the office? It's all about bringing that value back home.
Now this one is a superpower, the summary report. It's for that manager who is never, ever going to read the full 200-page research paper. Your job is to be their trusted filter. You boil it all down to the absolute must-know highlights.
And finally, the justification report. This is basically a sales pitch on paper. You're trying to convince someone to say yes to something. Whether it's buying a new piece of software, hiring another person for your team, you name it. It's all about persuasion.
Okay, enough with the theory. Let's get really practical. Here's a dead simple 3-step blueprint you can use to kick off any report and make sure you don't go off the rails right from the start.
So before you start writing prose, you've got a plan. Step 1, define the problem. Write down one sentence that says exactly what problem you are trying to solve. Step 2, state your purpose. Start with an action verb like to recommend a new vendor or to compare our sales figures. That's your North Star. And then, only then, do you move to step 3 and start gathering your data.
And where do you find all this data? Well, you can look inside the company, add sales records or past projects. You can use your own expertise from just observing things. You can go talk to people through surveys or interviews, and of course, you can do research online or in articles. The point is, a good report stands on a foundation of good, solid facts.
We are in the home stretch now. You've done the hard work. You've done the thinking, the planning, the research. Now it's time for the final polish, the presentation. Because the right format can be the difference between your report getting read and getting ignored.
For most of the reports we're talking about, you've got a few great choices. You could just write it right in the body of an email. You could use a standard memo format if it's for people inside your company. A letter format works for people outside the company. Or, hey, you could even use a slide deck, just like this one. The key is to match the format to your reader and your goal. So as we wrap this up, I want to bust one last myth that's out there. There's this idea that to write a good report, you have to sound super smart and use all this crazy jargon and complex words. And you know what? That could not be more wrong. Here's the real secret. A great report is just clear thinking made visible. That's it. It's about having a logical structure that walks your reader from a question to an answer. If you can think clearly about the problem, you can write clearly about it. It's as simple as that.
So, the next time you hear those words, I need a report, don't think of it as a chore. Think of it as a puzzle, an opportunity to make a real impact. What question are you going to answer? What problem are you going to solve? Because now you've got the tools.